Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on yet another episode of the show, Star Trek Online Edition. I am greeted here by our VIP guest, Sean Man X, a representative of the Armada Fleet. Thank you very much for joining us here, Mr. Sean Man X.
Thanks for having me, Odin.
No problem. We're going to go through the usual lineup here. Our Chief Information Officer, Chief Intelligence Officer, Chief Want to be the smartest guy in the entire planet officer, Captain Sarcasm Detector.
Greetings.
We have our Chief Logistics Officer, Captain Timberwolf.
How's it going, guys?
Wait, no, we're supposed to get the howl. We're supposed to get the howl.
Oh.
Thank you. Our Chief Cheesy Officer, Cheesy Tactics Officer, Cheese Meister Extraordinaire, Mr. S.O.B.
There's never enough cheese.
Never enough for you, bastard. And we have Mr. Top Gun himself, S.A. Ross, joining us here from Pilotville.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
All right, so before we get into the nice VIP selection here we have as far as Armada Fleet, going over a couple items here. First things first, released today, difficulty changes to the queues. Advanced is not advanced anymore. What gives?
It's just, for me, reading that was simply it's too hard for the average player, so they're trying to lessen the difficulty so more of the average player can play, which, while it's understandable, it's basically now normal, slightly tougher normal, and then elite. So instead of having 3 ranges of difficulty where you're actually working to get to the next tier, it's 2 that are sort of close together, and then you have a massive jump to elite. So there's a huge gap there, and for me personally, it seems like it's a disability because people won't be ready for the level that elite brings.
I agree with that. There is no middle ground anymore. It is just there are 2 easy levels and a really hard level, and that is it's really detrimental to the player base. Yes, a big portion of the player base are casuals or really not good enough to play on the advanced, but there are a lot of players that are. And you know what? I don't see it as a buff to rewards. I see it as a nerf to rewards. Players before who are able to complete the advanced queues are going to see less rewards now.
So wait, I'm sorry, I didn't have the time to fully read it all. Are we saying that because the difficulty level is now scaled down, so are the rewards?
The difficulty is the same.
Yes.
The difficulty is the same. What they've done is they've removed the fail objectives. There are no fail objectives anymore. There's a few changes here, right? First change is they took away the fail objectives. Unless the queue, the normal difficulty of the queue had a fail objective, then the advanced will still have the fail objective. Anything else, there's no more failure. The second change that they've done, the advanced queues now reward the exact same amount of marks as the normal queues. The only difference is with the optionals. So, for example, with Azure Nebula, which is the first change they did, there were 2 optionals in Azure Nebula normal, and for each optional you got 5 extra marks. On the advanced, for each optional that you get 10 extra marks. So there was literally 10 marks difference between normal and advanced Azure Nebula. And this looks like this is the way that they're going forward with the rest of the advanced queues.
Interesting. Sean, what do you think about this as far as Armada Fleet? Because my understanding is that you have a wide range of players within your fleet. How do you think they're going to handle this type of news?
Well, we have a lot of players in our fleet, and we're a very large active segment of the DPS league. So, the nerfs to the advanced content really sucks because it's a nerf on rewards, and it's going to affect a lot of our players. And our players that are up and coming and working on their builds and their strategy and stuff that are getting up there, it's doing them an extreme disservice too, because these guys haven't, some of these guys that are getting themselves up to an elite level, now they're at the point where, a lot of people are going to say, well, I'm getting myself up to this elite level, but for what? They've made everything too easy. And there has to be a challenge in this game, and something that I'm sure all of us can agree on that have been playing at in-game level for a while is that there's not a lot of challenging stuff for us to do, and to actually be taking the challenge out of it, that's a disservice not only to the community as a whole, it's a disservice to all the players of Stowe out there, because there's got to be stuff to keep people engaged. There's got to be benchmarks for people to keep striving for. And if they're essentially going to take that away or limit that in any factor, it sucks for everybody.
Yeah, well, okay, look at it this way. I like to use Gateway to Grathor as an example. The normal is ridiculously easy. You can probably AFK through it, release your pets, and your pets will do all the things for you, and it's that easy. The advanced, a team of 10k players can do it. I don't think you need a full team of 10k players. Some players can be a little bit lower. It's that easy. It's that simple. Elite, however, you need a team of 75k players. Okay, maybe not quite 75k. Maybe you can get away with a team of 50ks. Actually, no, we've tried it with 50k players. It failed. So you need something maybe 65 to 70k times 5 to complete the elite. So look at this. Look at the spacing here. Look at the scaling. For advanced, you need 5 times 10k players, and elite, you need 5 times 70k players. That is just an enormous gap out there.
I think the biggest thing that we're going to have coming up is that skill gap. And then for some people who want or are comfortable with that level of challenge as they're improving their skills, they're not going to have that anymore. So we're going to see a much steeper curve going from normal to advanced in this new setting to going into elites. So there's no more, okay, here's the stepping stone. That stepping stone is now a giant leap. And I don't know how the community is going to deal with this unless they have people who are willing to train them on making that jump, now a leap, from advanced queues to elite queues.
Well, there's a slippery slope here. There's a very slippery slope. Like you said, there's not going to be much of a curve going from normal to advanced, but there's a huge curve going from advanced to elite, depending on the elite queue, of course, because there's easy elite queues and there's difficult elite queues. Gateway to Grathor, the Herald Sphere, Hive Space, on elite, those are absolutely difficult. However, you have stuff like the Battle of Corfez. Viscous Cycle is kind of midway. Vault Ensnared Elite, those are easy elites. Those can be done with like really mediocre DPS, so it's not that bad. But still, there is a huge curve on there. And the slippery slope comes from, right now, players have complained about the advanced difficulty for what, 8 months now? And it's really entitled complaints. And for me, it looks like Cryptic is rewarding this entitlement. It's basically they're basically handing them the rewards now. They're no longer earned rewards; they're being just given to them. At what point are these players going to be like, hey, you know what? For no effort or very little effort, we're getting the elite marks, we're getting the advanced R&D boxes. Why can't we have the salvage tech as well? Why does elite have to be so difficult? This is a casual game. Give us our salvage tech. Make the elite queues easier. And I know I'm ranting a little bit here, but just the final point here is these elite queues are under-rewarding at the moment. So they're extremely difficult, and there's very little reward over advanced already. So the rewards are very pitiful for the difficulty of them. So you know what? Cryptic is going to be rewarding this entitlement. They're going to be like, all right, let's give them a break. Let's make these easier. Let's take away some of the fail conditions. Let's nerf down the HP pool a little bit and let players be able to get these. You know what? we made it too easy. Let's nerf the rewards some more. So it's going to end up as a downward spiral, and you might have noticed I'm not happy about this.
So tell me how you really feel.
I like it.
All right. I think we're going to leave it at that with that topic. Move on to the other one here. And this one, as much as I personally tried to champion the kinetic community, I'm just going to put this out there and take a step back. The change or / update on the tooltip to Subwarp sheath. Initially, when it came out, it was supposed to be the armor penetration based off of speed for all weapon damage. By the way, Timber, you owe me $5 because I told you so. So, according to Bordicus, which he posted, I believe it was today. My days have been rolling in together, but I believe it was today, and it stated, hey, nope, this is a tooltip error. We're going to fix it. It's only supposed to be energy weapons only. Thoughts, gentlemen?
I'll start it off. I owe you $5. That's all I can say. I owe you $5.
This is once again yet another classic. Here's something that could benefit everyone. Yet we're just going to ignore torpedoes, and I can kind of see some of the issues that they might have with it, because of the fact that we're talking kinetic weapons versus like energy-based energy weapons. So it could be difficult for them to figure out how to get a penetration onto torpedoes, but at the same time, it's just another way to not make a skill that is friendly for all types of things, which is where they could have gone with this and made it so all weapons in the game could have had a very good and very decent buff to their status and their damage.
One thing let me choose my words carefully. One thing I was perturbed about was that it was advertised as being, hey, this works for all weapon damage. So, anybody who wants to build a torpedo boat, now's a good time to go buy this ship to get this trait because it'll work nicely. Now, after they bought it and expecting it to work with those weapons, they're like, oops, so sorry, we're going to change this now. For whatever reason. We're not even going to get into the whole the number of boosts to energy weapon damage versus the boost to kinetic weapon damage. Multiple sources, traits, set bonuses, etc. We're not even going to get into that. It's just, here's what was initially presented and sold as, and then once they purchased it, it's, oh, it doesn't work for you. We're just going to change the tooltip because that's not what we intended it to be, or whatever the reason is. So there are some people who are upset about that.
Well, yeah, you should be. You have every right to be. I mean, here you are thinking, I'm going to get this ship. It's got this fantastic trait on it, and I'm going to use it on my torpedoes, and I'm going to be nice and happy because I'm going to get up to 15% penetration on this now. And all of a sudden, there's nothing. You found out, hey, it's not doing anything to the weapons, and it's only working on my energy stuff that I have, if I have any. And then they're coming out saying, oops, we've screwed up, and we had the wrong thing in the tooltip. We need it, and it was supposed to have been this, and we're changing it to this instead of giving it what people were expecting.
Oh, by the way, thanks to ValkFX for testing. The energy torpedoes do not work with this trait. I thought they would have. I was wrong. We tested it just to make sure. The energy torpedoes do not work with this trait.
So an energy type does not work with an energy buff, is what you're saying.
The torpedo. I think they're just classified as torpedoes, even though they are energy based, so they wouldn't work with this trait.
The sad part about this is that, the kinetic community, to be brutally honest with you, Odin, is not that large. So the outcry from this is not going to be big. And you know what? Cryptic's going to be like, meh, 5 torpedo guys are pissed off. What do we
Hey,
care?
21. We're up to 21 now.
You're lying to me.
I'm not.
No. 21 people want to play torpedo builds on this game.
I will get them all
That's
to
funny,
post.
man.
I will get them all to post on Reddit STO if you want. I get all 21 to do it.
22. I want to build one eventually.
Well,
Welcome to the kinetic community.
If you count me with my torpedo boat, then I'm already building.
Yeah, you're already in there.
Okay,
See?
I'm glad. So, but
The number grows every day.
at the same time, though, it's one of those things that I can see why it would be. You throw your like top hit of 700K into the mix of it having 15% penetration. There's nothing that can defend against that.
In PvP is a whole nother issue, but that's something else entirely for another topic altogether. So, with that said, we're going to bleed this thing straight over into Mr. Sean Manax, who is a representative of the Armada Fleet. So please, take it away, Mr. Sean Manax. Can you give us a brief introduction of what the Armada Fleet is all about?
Yeah, as Odin said there, I'm Sean. I'm one of the community leaders for the Armada Fleet, and pretty much the easiest way to sum us up is we're a merry band of space pirates. We get into the game, we get into the nuts and bolts of the game. We do everything from chasing DPS to doing PvP to we do what we call avant-garde ship runs, which is where we take these ships that most people within the community wouldn't even touch. And we smack numbers out of the park with them. We do some awesome runs, and we just get together as a group of people that are friends, and we have a lot of fun. We like having, we are a very large active segment of the DPS League, as I touched on earlier, but we're not per se a DPS fleet. We accept everybody regardless of play style and regardless of what their in-game option is. We just like to go out there and have fun. We don't care if you're hitting 500 DPS for some reason in your whatever ship you bring. We're going to drag you through a mission, and we're going to have fun while we're doing it. There's a lot of joking, shenanigans, laughing. We're a lighthearted group of people, and we are all professional level trolls to some extent because we like to have a lot of laughs. But I can tell you with the avant-garde ship runs and stuff that we do, I can tell you, rest assured, if you guys and any of you guys sitting in this room too, you ever warp into an advanced instance and you're surrounded by tier 1 ships and they're flying the Armada Fleet flag, rest assured you're in good hands. And if you guys want to see extreme DPS Malon battle cruisers, we can do that for you too, because we are an entire fleet full of 50k DPS Malon battle cruisers. It happens to be the god-awful ugliest ship in the game with a kind of a crummy console layout on it, and we've kind of taken that ship under our wing. That thing is really a diamond in the rough.
You know what? You said professional trolls. I love you already. You guys are my favorite right now. So I'm going to hit you with a couple of questions right away. How old is the fleet, and how many members do you guys have?
Well, the fleet has been around since 2012, the Armada Fleet itself. We had ended up joining forces with another gaming community, the Revelation gaming community we were part of for a little bit. That didn't end up working out so well. Between our actual core fleets right now, which we have 6 core fleets, we've got about 1,200 people split up between those fleets, plus everybody that we have alliances and everybody with. The actual Armada flag is flying at around 2,000 members strong, with God knows how many tunes between everybody, but we have quite a few people.
2,000 unique members?
Yeah, and that's TAF itself plus all of our allies. We're allied with a large array of people throughout the game, so it helps grow the community, and a bunch of people get to have fun. And these guys that are allied with us, they actually want to bring their fleet in its entirety into the Armada Fleet. We actually have a process for that too, which it helps. We get the word out there, we get people having fun, and that's what it's all about. We're here to have fun and have as much fun as possible.
Timber, you want to grab the next question?
Yeah. What activities do y'all typically run? And it's a two-parter. The bigger part is, what do y'all like about y'all's activities? What could y'all change to, make it more agreeable if someone wanted to run with your fleet? Like, are y'all open to anything with your activities, or do you have some that are just for your fleet?
No, with our activities and stuff, we're pretty all inclusive. I mean, we basically, a lot of times we get together, we run PVE queues. We have different PvP stuff that goes on, which I can touch on a little more in a bit. And we're completely all inclusive. If somebody wants to jump in with us, we don't really have any real preference or restrictions that we place on anybody. We do have 3 very active Twitch outlets, and our shenanigans go out over the internet live almost nightly. And we field questions from viewers. We actually get viewers that are in game, have them X up, run some missions, and do some stuff with us. We give build help and build advice. We tell our fair share of bad jokes. A lot of stuff is not appropriate for a younger audience, but that's one of the things that I got to touch on too. We are an 18 and over fleet, and the reason for that is because we have a lot of fun. There are some frat house style shenanigans and stuff that go on within the fleet, but more importantly than that, there's a lot of us that are actual real friends in the fleet. So we end up we get on teamspeak. Sometimes we end up helping a buddy out with a real life situation or something that he's going through, and we have a lot of fun. But yeah, anybody and anyone that wants to get in and do some stuff with us, we're open to it. We have no preference on anything. And actually, the type of stuff we like to do, the wackier that you can get with it, the more we're willing to go on with it. The other night on our Twitch stream, we were kind of having this challenge match thing with our viewers, and there was a lot of cool stuff going on. The viewers challenge is one of our events that we do on Twitch. It's for the fleet and for the viewers, where they come up with any cockamamie challenge they can think of. I mean, we've had some that are as low key as well. Run advanced instances without anti-proton weapons. As you guys all know, that's completely doable. But we've also had stuff where, okay, I want you guys as a group to go in, rebind your keys, and I want you to fly Battle of Corfez mouse only, stuff like that. I mean, we get as off the wall as possible for our own fun and for the fun of our viewers and our fleet mates.
I can actually quite confirm the shenanigans on TeamSpeak. We've had some of your fleet members come onto the DPS channels TeamSpeak, and probably people had to change their pants because of all the laughter. So I'm going to move on quickly to the next question. This might be a little bit more serious. How do you and your fleet feel about the state of the game, PvE-wise and PvP-wise?
Well, the state of the game, PVE-wise, I do agree with you there, Cam, that the distance between your advanced queues and your elite queues on some of them is insane. And then we have other elite queues, which Cryptic should really put elite in quotation marks, because there's nothing elite about them. That is something that needs to be addressed as far as the PvE community goes, because there is some good content out there, but some of it everybody can do, and some of us some of it, there's only those of us in the 75K group plus that are able to actually complete them, because they've got the hit points scaled up so high on those maps and the resistances that it's insane. But PVE, there's a lot that could be done with it. I'm not even going to address the issue of power creep, or especially since the Delta Rising expansion launched, the power tsunami that we've all experienced. But now PvP, which PvP right now, for all intents and purposes, is a dead thing. There are so many game breaking features, and there's so much cheese, as everybody calls it, that's in there that turns PvP into something that's not very fun. But I'm glad that you got into that, because I'm sure there's been whispers and people have heard things that the Armada Fleet's working on something big, and we've been working on just that. And I'm actually pleased to be able to get on the show to announce it. It's still not completed yet, but it will be coming to fruition. We're going to be starting the Armada Combat League, and what the Armada Combat League is, it is a PvP centric organization. Um, the PvP league that we're going to have, it's going to completely level the playing field for everybody. And the only restrictions that we're going to place on it is it's going to be tier 1 and tier 2 ships with vanilla equipment, nothing above your typical uncommon. So you can mix and match stuff a little bit with weapon modifiers, but it turns it back into an actual skill versus skill match among players, and it doesn't give access to a lot of the game breaking stuff that's out there. So it'll actually make PvP fun again. Something I've been working on in the background is I've been working on my own combat tracker, my own combat log reader program that is specifically centered around this, because our goal, and we're going to go live with it here pretty soon, is to have a PvP league with an interactive leaderboard, team-based leaderboard, something akin to what's already being done in the DPS leagues, where there's a leaderboard and people vie for position and stuff like that. But we want to do that in the arena of PvP with the Armada Combat League. And I think something like that, if we get the word out there and we get people on board with it and get them into the feel of it and the whole attitude behind it, it's going to make PvP a lot of fun, and it may very well revitalize it for the game population, because you don't have to worry about somebody being cloaked, charging up their chemosite-laced weapons, hitting alpha, and unleashing Torp Spread 3 with a neutronic torp and just vaporizing everything. That's completely out of the question. You're going to be flying around using actual piloting techniques and teamwork skills to try to beat the other team, which is what PvP is supposed to be anyways, and that would take a lot of the lopsidedness and brokenness out of it. So that's something that we've been working on in the background here recently, and we've had the idea on the plate for quite a while. I know that it's little bits and pieces have gotten out here or there, and it's generated a lot of interest within the Stowe community and the DPS communities too. And we get it going, it's gonna be awesome. I'm actually getting the final touches put on the combat tracker itself to do some beta testing and set it up with our league system that we're working on with the Combat League website and all of that. I think it's going to be an awesome thing, and it's not only going to be an awesome thing for the Armada Fleet as a whole, but if it works out the way that we have it envisioned and that we have it planned out, it's going to be an awesome thing for the Stowe community entirely, because it might bring back some of the days where you have PvP groups that go in there and specifically want to do that against each other. And especially since the launch of a lot of the intel abilities and stuff, PvP has slowly died a horrible, painful death. Some of the guys that we used to PvP with quite often, like the House of Beautiful Orions, they're pretty well disbanded, and it's kind of a sad state because of the way that power creep and everything has affected stuff. It's pretty much killed one segment of the game, and we're hoping with the Combat League we might be able to revive that a little bit, because we are PvE oriented fleet, but we also have a very large share of members that like PvP, and instead of just sitting and agreeing with people and lamenting over the sorry state that PvP's in, we've decided to use our resources as a large community to attempt to do something about it and make it fun again for everybody.
I kind of agree with you. Actually, there's one thing I disagree. PvP was dying or on the verge of being dead before Delta Rising hit. It was in a really sorry state. I know this because I was part of a PvP fleet, and during that period, we saw a lot of the regular PvP fleets just dry up and disappear. There was, at the end, just even before Delta Rising came out, there's probably less than a handful of PvP fleets left. You could probably count them on one hand. On the other thing, what you're talking about is extremely interested, and I want to get together with you at some point later on, maybe after the show or in the next couple of days, and maybe we can do some actual collaboration on some of that stuff, because it is extremely interesting.
Well, you see, this is something here where the community is trying to revitalize PvP for all intents and purposes. Even people like SOB around here trying to fly around in all his cheese. There are still people who are trying to get other people interested in playing, cheese or not. Now, yes, it would be a lot easier to be able to revitalize a segment of the game, which will mean, in the long run, more methods for Cryptic to be able to profit off of that. But for us, it's enjoyment, and that enjoyment means that we need more people involved with player versus player combat.
Absolutely, and I had a rare chance to talk with Sean before we did the show. I was actually able to talk to him about this and get the first insights, and it excited me. What he was describing for PvP is absolutely exciting because it's not just skills. You actually have to work on teamwork. It's 100% teamwork because with that low level ship and that low level of gear, we're still playing as level 60 players. So there's still things where it's going to be hard for us to kill. It's going to take a long time if we're just going out for ourselves, which a lot of PvP is, from what I've played, you're able to vape someone in 2 seconds. Whereas with this, it might take team-based play, skills, piloting for 3 ships to take out one quickly so they can focus on the rest. And, I mean, it goes into my next question for you, Sean, and it's what would you like to see in the game? And I want to focus some of that, most of that actually, to PvP, as far as what you'd like to see added to the game PvP, because the last game I played that had it was World of Warcraft, and the reason I reference that is because they had multiple types of PvP, so it wasn't just you're going one-on-one in an arena. They had capture objectives, they had protection objectives, and it actually balanced it out where you had multiple modes, like in your player versus environment, that you could play, and it kept it fresh. So I was just curious what you'd like to see in the game.
Well, in regards to since we're going to touch on PvP, taking from some of the MMOs out there like WoW and stuff, I know that Cryptic kind of tried and failed with the crafting system and all of that, but it would be really nice, and it would actually level the playing field for everybody. And Cryptic, if you're listening, this would give you an opportunity to make some more money. Have specific sets of gear that are only applicable in PvP instances. Take get rid of the ability to use broken PvE content in PvP, and separate PvP into its own separate thing. You know, coding wise and programming wise, it wouldn't be all that hard, because if you just look at the two different areas you play the game in, there's different stuff for ground and different stuff for space. You can just separate two different space instances and actually have PvP equipment for people that want to go do PvP, which your PvE equipment is essentially going to be worthless in PvE and vice versa. And there you go. And that would solve the problem with a lot of the broken PvE content that's making PvP bad as it is right now. It's and I do agree with Cam that PvP was on its way out for a long time. But I mean the intel spam and other stuff that came out with Delta Rising and subsequently shortly after was pretty much the death nail for organized PvP as we had it. I used to be, myself and a bunch of members of my community, we used to be active participants in the organized PvP channel, and we used to have a lot of fun. But that kind of went away. And the whole thing with the Combat League, we're wanting to approach PvP in a different way, because a league-based system with actual rules and stuff in place is, PvP has been pretty much the redheaded stepchild of STO, and it's not something that's ever been treated in this way. And if it's actually played out in an organized and controlled league with rules, a leaderboard system, and everything else, that would actually generate a lot of player interest, and it would give a lot of people more things to do within the game, especially at an in-game level. Because I know, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but there's probably nobody in this room that would disagree with me that right now, the state of the game, there's a severe lack of in-game content to really keep us engaged. I mean, all of us in this room are guilty of it because we all chase DPS and stuff. I mean, how many thousands of times have we ran infected space over and over again, or any of these queues that are out there? I mean, PvP adds a different aspect to it, and even though everybody's going to be flying certain ship types and certain gear, there's literally an endless array of combinations that can happen. You're never going to have the same match twice, and it would make it a lot of fun, and it would revitalize that segment of the population. And my grand delusional dream here is to actually, maybe this would bring about a revival of some of the PvP fleets, some of the competition and stuff like that. It would be awesome.
Agreed.
Agreed as well. Just to point out something, I'm sitting on 177 Omega marks. 177,000 Omega marks. So that just wrap your head around that a little bit. So there's one thing you're talking about. You guys are making a new parser and a new league specifically for PvP, for this PvP Combat League. I'm actually allowed to talk about something else right now, is the original DPS channels. We are working on a parser. I know a lot of people have been wondering about this. Yes, we have a parser in the works, and we should be getting the alpha version of it tomorrow for testing over the weekend. So you guys out there who are waiting for this, it is coming very soon. We're going to have a new parser. We have some good developers working on it. We have a award-winning graphical user interface designer working on it as well. And this is just a start of our projects. We have other projects going in as well. And you're talking about these projects that your fleet is working on. We ourselves are also working on projects, and I believe it's going to dovetail, and it's going to be something fantastic for the community. So you guys out there listening, there are some really exciting stuff coming down the line. So I just want to jump in, and I'm going to repeat the last question that Timber asked you, but this time in regards to PvE. What would you like to see in the game for PvE?
Well, one of the things I'd like to see in the game for PvE is we're getting new queues and stuff with every half season and every expansion. It's not particularly that. The PvE queues are, they're cool, but one of the things that needs to be done for sure is the board content. We touched on that. A lot of people run the board content into the ground. Cryptic needs to release the rest of the elite board content, and I think they need to actually go back and reevaluate some of these other queues that are out there, because we've got some queues like we'll take the breach, for instance, or we'll take the atmosphere assault, some of these queues that nobody plays, and actually come up with some new stuff to put out there. I mean, they can free up server space and put out some new content. Since I got into it a little bit, like atmosphere assault, there was actually, there is so much potential in this game for some of the smaller ship shuttle based combat stuff, but it never panned out. Even playing atmosphere assault, it's to me, and you guys can correct me if you think I'm wrong, it's just the breach stuff like that, they're just kind of generic feeling queues. It's just stuff where they're like, hey, here's some crap to go grind marks on, have fun, with not a lot of replay value and thought put into it. And that's another reason why a lot of the original STFs get played as much as they do, because out of all of the content we have right now, even though we have all ran them into the ground, the original STFs, they have the highest replay value out of everything at in-game PvE.
And that's true. That is true. I mean, how many times, as you said, have we played ISA? But when you think of the breach or storming the spire, most people haven't played those since 3 months after their release. I do have a quick question that comes off of what Jenna asked you for PvE, and it's something I've been asking around. I've asked everybody on this panel about, and I've been asking some of my friends in game. With the Iconian War, We're in the middle of Season 10. We've got the Iconian War going. Would you like it to feel more war-based? And what I mean by that is you feel like you're more in the war than it just a mission here and a queue here, like sector patrols, where you fight the Borg in a sector patrol, you can fight the Iconians. More urgency is basically what I'm asking for the Iconian War.
Well, yeah, there needs to be a little more urgency to it, and and the the whole the whole release of the Iconian stuff. I mean, that's cool, but I've noticed something being done differently with the Iconian War. I know, looking back at Legacy of Romulus, Delta Rising. I mean, there was a whole slew of new content that was released with those new missions and everything else. I mean, right now we're getting a featured mission and everything once in a while, but I mean, we're not really getting a full-on story arc, which I do feel kind of cheated a little bit for that. And as far as the whole war aspect, I mean, why not ramp it up a notch? You're flying through sector space, going to wherever the heck it is you're going, and you know they should have something like sector space random encounters. That would just be awesome. You're
I would
flying
be
through sector
so down
space.
for that. Sorry, just had to interject. I would be incredibly down for that, where suddenly you're just going through it and then you just ambushed, dropped out of warp, and you have to fight off something.
Right, you transwarp over there to K7, and you're making your way over to Drozana for some sweet role playing action, and all of a sudden you've got Iconians attacking you out of nowhere, and I mean that would be kind of cool, and it would add a level of excitement to the game. I mean, I would think personally that something like that would be a natural progression, especially with the expansion of sector space and everything the way that it is, and with the new visuals, a lot of people actually enjoy flying around sector space and checking stuff out. Why don't we just give them that content? Hey, I'm flying to Risa, so I can go over there and do my daily for the summer event, and I've got Nausicaan raiders attacking my ship on the way over there for my shore leave. I mean, that would be amazing.
Or at the very least, at the end of the summer event, the Iconians attack Ryza to break you away from this vacation to gear you back up for war.
Yeah, that would work too. And actually, as far as attacking Ryza goes, I think I'm gonna put together a nice community outreach thing for the Armada fleet after this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna host the Malons invade Ryza. That's what we're gonna do shortly after the show here.
You band of pirates, you.
Okay, well, I'll get into my question. I know I segued a little bit there. It was something that I wanted to get your opinion on. The big next question is, it's been talked about a lot, and it's something we've mentioned in a previous show. What features or services would you be willing to pay for besides what's out there? Is there anything specific that you wouldn't mind seeing that has a very small Zen cost, EC cost, daily cost, whatever?
I would like to see Cryptic put out a no lag token in the Zen store. You buy this token for 500 Zen, and you have absolutely no lag for a week or 2 weeks or whatever. But anyways, all joking and everything aside,
I
as far
detect
as
sarcasm.
You're a little late on that detection there, buddy.
but yeah, the whole thing with services and all of that. And I am gonna play on the holodeck lag issue a little bit, which I know we've all experienced it. We've all griped about it and beat it into the ground. But something that I would actually like to see is right now maybe a couple more ship sales and stuff like that, but to have Cryptic actually put the proceeds into getting maybe getting an actual dedicated server instead of just a shard for Star Trek Online, and something that can handle the huge influx of population. Because right now, I mean, you guys have all seen their lag hit list and all that, which they're working on, and that's cool. But we have stuff like the anniversary event, the summer event, all of this stuff where we end up with a massive influx of player population, either new players or people that are returning after being gone for a long time. And between broken abilities and internal server issues and all of that, the game's not really holding up to the population that it's experiencing at some time. So actually something a service that's kind of like the hardware based on their end, maybe an upgrade or something for the Stowe players would be nice. Now, Zen store stuff and all of that. Um, One thing that I would love to see, because I'm a huge fan of the pilot escorts. Uh, they're awesome, and
I
what they
totally
are.
concur in that.
Yep. What the pilot escorts are, the way that way they fly, the way that they operate, and everything is something that I envisioned, the original Defiant class and other escort class vessels to be able to do. So, it would be nice to have a ship upgrade token where you could give those maneuverability options to your escort craft that you've already got, because I mean, getting in there and getting used to the rolling and the dodging and dashing and everything, I mean, it literally is a game changing feature. If you're a escort pilot like myself, I fly escorts and only escorts, so I was over the moon when I got my hands on a pilot escort, and it would be nice to be able to have that kind of maneuverability on my Defiant or on my Manasa or something like that. That's something that I think all escort craft should be able to do.
Wait a second here. Just escorts? Why not all ships? I mean, I would love to have that on an Aatrox. Wouldn't that be awesome?
No. You're already
No,
overpowered as it is. Forget
all I have
that.
to say is give me pilot maneuvers on the Scimitar.
Exactly. Amen.
Well, yeah, I'm okay. That's enough. You guys all know how ridiculous your scimitars look when you hit rock and roll.
Sarcasm detected.
Not as ridiculous as hitting rock and roll in a Malon battle cruiser, but yeah, no, the escort class ship specifically, because even in keeping with the way stuff was with the shows and everything else, I mean, these escort class ships and these bird of prey ships, raiders, all of that, I mean, they're supposed to be doing that, and yeah, the pilot maneuvers on a scimitar, that'd be a little extreme, seeing a scimitar or a freaking Bordeski or something doing some of those maneuvers. But you know the I think the escort class, and if they're not willing to go to all the escort class ships, even the raider class ships like your Kazon heavy raider, your bird of preys, stuff like that, it would be nice to have that functionality with them, because that just kind of completes the package for what those ships are supposed to be.
You want to see comedy? Actually, it's not even comedy. It's absurd. An obelisk doing rock and roll. It's just out there. Okay, so at this point, I don't think we have any more questions prepared for you, unless any of the guys here have something. I'm going to turn it.
He's not in the call anymore.
Did we lose him?
We just lost him by accident there. Stand by. We'll see if we can get him in.
Do,
Probably what happened there. But if we can't, for whatever reason, we do have the link set up for it, and they'll also be
he's back.
in the description. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I had a random modem issue. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
No problem. So I'm going to turn it over to you now, Sean. And if you have anything you want to talk about, or you have something you want to ask us, go ahead, feel free. And afterwards, we'll see if there's any community questions or questions from the listeners out there.
Well, I want to be able to take this opportunity just to talk about the Armada Fleet community a little bit more. And I was corrected by one of our founding members about our date. Actually, we've been around since 2010. I wasn't around in the game at that time, but yeah, we've been around for quite a while, and we just have I mean, we do have a leadership structure and everything else, but we have this we have a come as you are attitude, and we have a lot of fun. I mean, that's all it's centered around, man. It's about having fun, regardless of whether we're telling jokes on TeamSpeak or where we've now I'll have to spell this out for you guys so you guys don't think it's profanity. Here's an example of some of the shenanigans we pull. You remember when they first released the Tier 6 ships, and everybody was speculating what this Tier 6 anniversary ship was going to be? Well, we have a member of our fleet who he was all about getting the Tier 6 ships. So I'll spell this for you because it's in the traditional Klingon. It's DI apostrophe DICQFOR. That's right, the Dick-4. We told him it was the new Klingon carrier that was being released with the anniversary event, and we were all on board with it. We had this guy scouring the internet, asking in zone chat. I mean, everything else, asking what's a Dick-4, what's a Dick-4, and it was freaking hilarious. That's the type of stuff that we like to do. I mean, we have a when the lag was extremely bad before they started some of the fixes. Had a member of the fleet on. We told him, hey, we found out that the crystalline refraction proc off of the Nukara shield, when it procs, it's actually using way too much server power, so we're causing the lag ourselves running the Nukara set. And actually, because that proc stays on because it's bugged, just take your shields off entirely. So we had this guy run an infected space advanced with no shields, which it was funny as hell to all of us, but it also proved a point to him that his scimitar wasn't as squishy as he originally thought it was.
Y'all are bastards just saying that right now.
But this is the good type of bastards, I gotta say.
Yeah.
I don't know, man, because they'll probably pull a fast one on me for something like, hey, Odin, guess what? They actually put back the torpedo armor penetration trait back on the pilot ship. Go buy one now.
Oh no, I actually had one in the works. For you. I was gonna, but yeah, I'll hit you with that when you're not ready for it. But our Twitch and community outreach programs and everything have been doing good. We've actually got quite a few new members in the fleet, and we've generated a lot of still community interest through that. And we do the we do the viewers challenge thing, which we do have our three outlets are we have Twitch TV / Tallsmith and Twitch TV / Meeswan Jr. That's MESWANNJR. Those are our two main Twitch outlets, and we do the viewers challenge. And I want to touch on that some because I mean we've had the viewers straight go out there and troll us and have some crazy stuff. I mean one-handed piloting on these instances, going and doing a leader advanced queues with all standard issue weapons that you can pick up somewhere. I'm not talking Mark anything. I'm talking like phaser beam array standard issue. One-handed piloting, mouse piloting, flying with only your omni beam, stuff like that. And we just like to have a lot of fun. And the more people that we get in the community that are actually interacting with us and talking with us, they get in there and they get kind of swept up in that too. We get on Stowe, we hang out with each other, we talk, but I mean it's pretty much a party every night. We've got something crazy going on that everybody enjoys doing.
If you're gonna be hitting Odin, please record it for me. I want to see it.
Hell, you all. Seriously, I'll be ready for
be a part of it.
I'll be ready
and
for
YouTube it.
Forget that. I'll be ready for
and
all
send
of
it to
you.
me, and I'll put it on Facebook.
Each and every single one of you will get crushed in
It'll
an
be
instant.
worth it.
Crushed with what? Your torpedoes?
It'll be funny. Hey, you know what? The Kinetic community is now going to celebrate our 23rd member, Mr. Stephen Smith, out there over on YouTube land. Thank you very much for joining the Kinetic community. Hats off. Welcome to the show.
Wow, that's some pretty exponential growth there.
Yes, it is. That's going to be 2 a day at this point.
Hey, I thought we were supposed to be doing PG-rated stuff here, and now everybody's talking about the size of Odin's torpedo. What did I get myself into?
You don't want to know.
Anyway, get out of here. No, don't get out of here yet, because we got to get links from you. We got to get every other promotional item from you. You got a website, so we're going to post all of that in the description. Definitely check out the Armada Fleet if you love it. Talk with Sean Mannix. Talk with any of their outreach folks on there. Check out the Twitter feeds. Check out everything. Check out their YouTube channel, which we've already linked for this show. I mean, they got some awesome work. And by the way, you know what? Let me know what your rates are, because I'm going to hire you to do my greatest hits. And I'm going to line these guys up, and I'm going to do one massive greatest hits across all of their faces.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. Just watch. I may die 100 times, but when I hit you that one time, oh, you're going to feel it.
Someone get Odin some coffee so he can wake up.
He needs to come out of those clouds so anyone got a BB gun so you shoot down the balloon that's on his head, or that is his head?
Now,
So
pardon
funny.
my noobness, but I'm gonna put something out here. I'm gonna put something out here to this will kind of showcase the type of shenanigans that we do here. I can type text in here, right?
Yep,
Yeah, go
go
ahead.
for it.
Okay. We were talking about the Malon battle cruisers and everything else. This is a nice video done by Zach, Sacrilege Gaming. He's one of our he's our YouTube channel there, and you guys are gonna love it. I wish this was a video chat so everybody could check it out, but yeah, there we go. This is that's a Cure Space Advanced run done in all Malon battle cruisers, and in the lag environment, we still completed it in 223.
Can you link it up, Odin?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be on there. I already linked their entire YouTube channel, but I'll link that one specifically just for people to enjoy the lulls on that one. So we're just going to wrap up the show here. Thank you very much, Sean Man X, for joining us. Sean Man X representing the Armada Fleet. You'll see all their content, all their information. Please go check them out and support them. You know what? It would be nice to see Luke Critter just pay the Armada Fleet a little bit of attention here, because we know Luke Critter, when he got his eye on something, he analyzes it inside and out. And we definitely enjoy reading your stuff, Luke Critter. Keep it up. Thank you very much. On behalf of our Chief Intelligence Officer, our Chief Cheese of all cheese meister, so monster cheese that it's stinky up in here, Mr. Captain SOB, our Chief Logistics Officer, Captain Timberwolf. Give us a nice howl, please. And Mr. Top Gun here. I need to play Highway to the Danger Zone for you next time you actually do one of your videos. So, just saying. Just saying. This is Odin Knight. Take care, everybody, and have a good night.